a Dallas rout. The Bucs hope to avenge that 38-0 humiliation. Cowboy fans have to be concerned about quarterback Danny White's thumb, which he injured in practice this week. In a rematch of last year's playoff game that turned into a mismatch, a Dallas rout. The Bucs hope to avenge that 38-0 humiliation. Cowboy fans have to be concerned about quarterback Danny White's thumb, which he injured in practice this week. If he starts, White will be up against the aggressive play of this man, linebacker Hugh Green, the leader of Tampa Bay's hard-hitting defense. Also live, you are looking at the Metrodome in Minneapolis, where the Vikings and Atlanta Falcons will go at each other in a battle between two teams that are back in the playoffs after a year's absence. The Vikings will be led by this quarterback, Tommy Kramer, who threw for 2 touchdowns in last Monday's big victory over Dallas. And leading the more balanced Atlanta attack will be Steve Bartkowski, who has been both hot and cold this season.
In fact, Brent, hot and cold is the way to describe their entire Atlanta team. The Falcons are pro football's version of Jekyll and Hyde, and I'll be taking a look at the most unpredictable team in the NFL.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are hurting. Their defense is ripped apart with injuries. But I was in Tampa Bay this week, and I can tell you this. The Bucs really want revenge for what happened to them last year in Dallas, and despite their injuries, they think they're going to get it. I'll have that story later. Phyllis?
Jimmy, and I can tell you this, the Dallas fans are not expecting a repeat of last year's blowout. The Cowboys have not been playing well lately, and the people in the Lone Star State are getting restless. We'll also bring you the latest playoff results and highlights. All that and more on the NFL Today.
Big day. He has rushed for 211 yards. That is a record for the playoffs. Meanwhile, time is now running out in the other game. The Pittsburgh Steelers are down to just a handful of seconds. Terry Bradshaw is desperately trying to get them to within field goal range and a chance to tie it. They have come down to 4 ticks of the clock. Bradshaw was valiant, even though it appears that they have lost the game, and the Chargers now would advance on. And it was Danny Fouts who drove the Chargers down the field. He dominated the clock. Here was the winning touchdown pass. Fouts was looking to Kellen Winslow. Winslow battling his way into the end zone, as he has done so often. And oh, what a load off the shoulders of Danny Fouts. And finally, the Chargers win a game of character, and they go. And Irv, what about the job that Kenny Anderson did?
You talk about character. Anderson was sacked 5 times in the first half alone in that ball game. He threw 35 times, completed 26 passes, 353 yards, but 3 interceptions. It looks like the Jets are going to go in again. There's seconds left to go in the game.
All right, and Phyllis, I just hope that our games are as good as the AFC, especially that Dallas-Tampa Bay game.
The Dallas game, that's right. When Tony Dorsett, you're looking at him right now, runs for more than 100 yards, the Cowboys usually win. But they lost last Monday night, even though Dorsett nearly ran for 100 yards on one play, a dazzling burst from scrimmage on the Dallas 1-yard line.
99-yard run, an NFL record, is something that I'm proud of. It was just a straight hitting play, quick opening play. I was able to hit through there untouched, and once that was made, it was off to the races for a while down the field, and a couple guys had a good angle on me, but Drew Pearson, of course, was downfield doing one heck of a job, should I say, shielding those guys off. It's something that I'll cherish as long as I live.
But the odd aspect of the play was the confusion in the Dallas huddle. Ron Springs trotted off the field when he thought the formation that was called did not involve him. That left Dallas with only 10, count them, 10 players on the field, a rare occurrence for a team as precise as Tom Landry's Cowboys.
It was an H-31, and I think I might have been one of the players that came from the bench that came in with the Jayhawk formation. I thought it was said that the Jayhawk formation was called, and we got into the huddle. Of course, Ron was in the huddle at that time. I said, it's Jayhawk, and Ron started trotting off the field, and Danny looked a little disgusted, a little amazed, confused about the formation. He just looked, and I didn't realize we still had 10 men on the field until it was all over and done with. But thankful for me, and I'm thankful for Ron that he wasn't in there.
So much for the Dallas computer, right?
That's right. They better not make any mistakes today.
Phyllis, there is a big question about the Cowboys. Who will start at quarterback? Let's go down now to Pat Summerall and John Madden for the answer. Pat?
Well, Well, Brent, there's a question about both quarterbacks. Doug Williams of the Buccaneers has a pulled hamstring. We don't know if he'll start or not. We talked to him yesterday about his condition.
I think if I can take the snap from center and drop back like I've been dropping back, or either if I can do it 90%, I'm going to play, because I don't think running would be all that important, because I feel like my offensive line know the situation now, and I just got the feeling that they're going to play extra hard tomorrow.
And John Madden, what about the situation with Danny White?
Well, Danny White jammed his thumb on Wednesday when he hit the helmet of one of his own men. He didn't practice Thursday or Friday. None of the Cowboys practiced yesterday, so he really doesn't know. But we talked to him yesterday about the problems that he will have.
I think the biggest problem is going to come from taking a snap, and that, of course, we won't know until tomorrow. But throwing the ball doesn't seem to be a real big problem, and with one more day to go, I think it'll be much better tomorrow.
Both quarterbacks did participate in warm-ups, which have just been concluded. They both functioned very well, but we'll still have to wait and see. Right now, let's go to Minnesota and Tom Brookshire.
Yeah, mine's going in and out now, Barry.
Okay, Patrick, I'm Tom Brookshire. I'm with Wayne Walker, and in between us is Buddy Curry. And Buddy, you're only in your third year, but you were the team leader in tackles and everything, and you fouled up your knee. How about Laughlin filling in for you? Can he do the job, do you think?
Well, he came in 1980 and did a great job when Fulton Kuykendall was injured, and everybody's confident he can do the job. He will play well today.
Okay.
Buddy, what does Minnesota do offensively that will give your defense the most problems?
Well, Minnesota's offense is very balanced. They can run the ball as well as throw. They like to throw more, but they take what you give them, and hopefully we can play the run, stop the run like we always try to, and then break on the pass and stop the pass.
Okay. You get an urge to hit somebody, you come up to the booth and we'll double team Brookshire today, okay?
Okay, we will. All right, buddy. It also proves he and Lawrence Taylor do that Dean Smith doesn't have all the good athletes at Carolina. By the way, we'll be keeping you up to date on this game. You people are going to be watching Dallas and Tampa Bay, so hang close to us and we'll stay close to you. Okay, Brent?
All right, Brookie, thank you very much. There has been some confusion about the AFC matchups next week. Keep in mind now that the Jets will go to Los Angeles to play the Raiders. The Chargers go down to Miami to play the Dolphins. We'll find out what the Greek thinks about those games, and our action about to start as the NFL Today continues in just a moment.
Well, Bum Phillips used to say the road to the Super Bowl goes through Pittsburgh. For Tampa Bay, the past 2 seasons, the road to the Super Bowl has gone through Dallas. Last year, the Bucs walked into an ambush at Texas Stadium and were skinned alive. But today, they have a chance to redeem themselves. Dallas, it looms larger than life, especially for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A year ago in the playoff opener, the Cowboys rode herd over Doug Williams and the Bucs, whipping them 38-0. During the regular season, the Bucs had another shot, but fumbled it away. Today, they're looking to finally settle an old score.
They've got to be a hungry team right now. They've been denied, they've been in the playoffs, and they've been denied a chance every year. They've been knocked out, and we've knocked them out a couple times.
Hey, the playoffs isn't good enough anymore. It's the Super Bowl, and it's winning the Super Bowl. And if we beat Dallas, then there won't be any question in anybody's mind on this team that we can win the Super Bowl.
Stopping the Dallas Cowboys is a task in itself, even for the NFL's top defense. But last week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost 2 of their best secondary men playing the Chicago Bears, which sent defensive coordinator Dwayne Founts right back to the drawing board.
Fellas, this is Dallas's #1 offensive set versus the pass. 3rd down and long, we're going to get this set. It's an open spread formation with a shotgun. We get 3 new defensive backs in this ball game, but that's not going to be a factor in this game at all.
We're in the worst physical shape we've been in all year, so 3 of our probably 5 backs we've used the most will not play.
McKay might use hard-hitting all-pro linebacker Hugh Green in the secondary, so fleet-footed receivers beware. Green says he's ready to backpedal.
Whatever it takes for us to win. I'll play defensive back, I'll play linebacker, I'll play in the line.
One statement about our defense is we try to make it simple enough that a young man can get it done, his job done. We never want to put a young man in a position where he can't get his job done.
A lot of injuries in that game, Jimmy. How would you analyze it?
For both sides. Fontes has done a great job in covering up those injuries, Brent. This is going to be a real tough, hard ball game, believe me. Dallas is going to win it, but they're going to have a hard time doing it. Take my word.
Listen, I think the other one could be the best game of the day, Atlanta and Minnesota. How do you separate these two?
I'll tell you one thing, there'll be plenty of points on the board and a lot of noise in Minnesota, and for that reason, we're going to go with Minnesota because they can't hear the signals.
Now, Jimmy, as long as we have the matchups for the AFC, how about the Jets game against the Raiders? Who do you like that one?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a toughie. Both teams are real good, but the Raiders are at home, so we're going to have to give them the home team advantage.
All right, Jimmy, they have won it 44-17. There's the other matchup, San Diego at Miami. Who'll be favored in that one?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't know if anybody will be favored in that game, but Miami's been playing great and been putting a lot of points on the board since Dave Shula has been taking the offensive side.
That's right. I'll tell you, a rematch of that great overtime game.
Remember that?
Now, here is Kenny Anderson, who had a gutty performance, and this was a record interception by Ray. 98 yards, he dashed back. And at the time, the Bengals were still in the football game. If they had been able to score a touchdown and get it back and go it again, they might have pulled it out. And the NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local station.